Good morning to you all. And Manuela, what a fantastic location this is. Brilliant. Great, great, great organization. What I want to share over the next 20 minutes is quickly, probably after listening to Keith and the point that he made, it really struck a chord, right? When you talk of purpose, people start rolling their eyes. And unfortunately, because purpose has become more of a fad than something which is sincerely embraced and internalized. So I said, should I really stick to my presentation, which might look a little like a presentation, or should I actually tell you a story? And I decided to go for the story. So this is called Agile Presentation. So I'm ditching my slide deck. So what I wanted to share was that when, and I'll tell you the learnings along the way of what I have discovered in the last, say, 6 years that I have been at Mastercard, and I'll tell you the story of Mastercard and purpose. Now, in 2007, Mastercard has gone for its IPO. And when it went for its IPO, the CEO of the company at the time, Bob Sealander, felt that we should give something back to the society in a big way. And this was before purpose was called purpose, and before purpose became fashionable, right? It's no longer corporate speak. It wasn't then, at least. So what he did was he donated 10% of Mastercard equity into a foundation and formed a separate company called Mastercard Foundation. It has nothing to do with Mastercard. It has a CEO out of Canada. It has got a board of directors. They run it completely independently on their own. The only thing we share with them is the name Mastercard. And today, it is the largest, if I get my numbers right, and I believe it is, the single largest corporate philanthropy anywhere in the world with $23 billion of assets. Now, by the Canadian law, 5% approximately of the entire asset base has to be contributed every single year by that foundation, which means Mastercard Foundation is doing almost $1 billion of philanthropic activity every single year. This is one thing. Most of the companies would say, we set up the foundation, biggest one, doing very well, and we are not having a commercial relationship with that so that we can gain business advantage from that. So we don't use foundation for business advantage. The foundation is meant to truly drive and invest behind social causes. But what happened was we started looking at it in a slightly different way. Of course, CSR, ESG, environmental sustainability goals and all these are also sort of put together in most of the companies. We too have that. And we took that very seriously, and we said, how do you reduce our carbon footprint and all those things on one side from environmental sustainability goals. And we also have our CSR activities. So that's the second thing which has been happening. Then what we did was 6 years back or around that time, we said that it is not enough to have something beside the business as a charitable activity or a philanthropic activity, but we need to incorporate purpose into the core of our business and live that purpose on a day-to-day basis, in the sense that you will have to walk the talk every single day. How do you do it? And in fact, I personally, when we were trying to come up with one platform, I was reminded that we are not International Red Cross. We are a for-profit organization that want to give healthy returns to the shareholders and also grow as a company in a nice way. And the hypothesis clearly was that purpose and business are not mutually exclusive, but actually purpose-driven business will grow faster than a business which doesn't have a purpose or which doesn't follow a purpose. So that's how we started. And the way we started looking at is, okay, if you have to put purpose into the core of our business, how do we go about it? Where do we focus on? What kind of areas does Mastercard have permission to play in so that there is no organ rejection, there is acceptance that these guys are doing something genuine and something genuinely good. And so we started researching what are the various areas that we want to look at to make a difference. And we identified, because we are a global company with presence in more than 210 countries, and we have got 1.8 billion consumers who have a Mastercard product, and we deal with about 45 million merchants, we deal with about 40,000 banks, so it's a huge network. And trying to come up with one purpose or one social cause that appeals to everyone is not very easy. And that in itself was very important for us to focus on. So what we did was we looked at multiple purposes or multiple causes, but driving to the same purpose. And we started internally telling ourselves that we will do well as a company by doing good in the society. So doing well by doing good is something which we have to internalize. And the best part of it is the CEO of the company started becoming a major advocate for this, and he sort of states it every single time in every single meeting that we want to be a decent company and we need to do stuff that is really good for the society. And in doing so, profits will follow. So it's not just chasing profits ruthlessly, but it's doing well by doing good. Again, this can all sound cute or Pollyannish, or like a corporate statement that you want to make, etc. But we started really living that reality. So here is what we did. We identified multiple areas where we could potentially focus. And one of the first areas we started looking at was in the healthcare. And in the health area, we found that almost 1 out of every 2 people in the United States is affected by cancer during their lifetime. 1 out of 2. Which means either they themselves have cancer during their lifetime sometime, or somebody in their immediate circle, family or friends, will have cancer. And that's dreadful. And 1 out of 3 women have cancer. So in that situation, we said this is something which is very big and something which we should try to do something about, to try and find, firstly, raise awareness, and secondly, try to help organizations find cures for cancer. Now, what has Mastercard got to do with cancer? Do we have permission to go into the cancer space? The key thing is we said, no, when you're really wanting to do good and want to do it genuinely, the brand automatically gains permission. So long as you're genuine, you're authentic, you're not faking, you're not pretending, you're not using it only for commercial mileage. So we started working on this, and we partnered with a company called Stand Up to Cancer Foundation. Stand Up to Cancer Foundation was started by 7 amazing women, and those of you who are from the US, you'll know, like Katie Couric, for example, was one, Lisa Paulson. Now, these people have come together, 7 women, and they started this foundation, and their whole objective is exactly what we said, which is raise the awareness about cancer and the prevention that you can take, preventive actions, and then try to help find cures. So fast forward. What we said is we are not doing philanthropy just for philanthropy's sake, because we have got P&L. We have got to deliver our quarterly results. So we want to marry both in a very transparent way. And how do we do it? So we ran our first promotion in the US saying that if you use your Mastercard at a restaurant during these 8 weeks, at any restaurant in the US in these 8 weeks of summer, every time you use the card, we will contribute a tiny part of the profit that we make to Stand Up to Cancer Foundation. And we'll run campaigns to enhance the awareness and bring attention to this action as the first step. Now, we have raised more than $45 million, and we are now the single largest corporate partner for Stand Up to Cancer Foundation. But raising money is just one part. We also do awareness as far as raising awareness around cancer. Like for example, at Major League Baseball matches, we got World Series or All Stars. We stop the game, and then everyone, we ask them to stand up and hold on a board someone they are standing up for in their fight against cancer. It's a very deeply emotional and deeply connecting kind of an experience, and people tear up, and it's broadcast live throughout the country. And the awareness started really going because we track it and then see how it is moving the needle or not. But more importantly, finding cures for cancer. So we started looking at, and this foundation has, we obviously we don't do research, we don't directly deal with the scientists. But as management experts, so to speak, we can help them with the whole process of discovery, drug discovery, right? So today what happens is, in many cases, drug discovery is a very secretive process. If you're working for a pharmaceutical company, that is your bread and butter. You will not say, hey, here is my formula, or here are the discoveries that will eventually lead to drugs, on the one hand. And on the other hand, if you're in a research institute, or you're in a college, medical college, or whatever, as a researcher, your livelihood depends on how well you are keeping those secrets. And then you publish your papers after that, and so on. But when people start collaborating with each other, that's when the progress happens fast. So what we started doing, our Stand Up to Cancer Foundation started doing with help from us, is to identify the best cancer specialists in different areas and bring 5 of them together at a time. And those 5, they're called a dream team. So each dream team has 5. And we say, you, the dream team, will have a significant amount of funding, like $5 million. But then you'll get that $5 million when you go through a stage gate process. So when you accomplish certain milestones in the drug discovery process, all the way from molecule to FDA approval, you get the amount. Now, that kind of a money in the research and development world is very big. And normally the scientists have to really put large proposals, even to get a $250,000 kind of a grant. And whereas here we are saying your effort should not be on that administrative part of it, your effort should be to focus on drug discovery and then do it. Typically, it takes 12 years for one drug to come from molecule stage to the FDA approval stage. And now we are here in a short time, already 6 drugs have been approved for different types of cancers by FDA. That is a humongous breakthrough and a positive momentum. And we've got multiple teams working, and it is overseen by a gentleman from Arizona State University, and he has been awarded Nobel Prize last year. And they are revolutionizing the finding the cures for cancer. Likewise, for example, there is ovarian cancer, which is a dreadful disease. Unfortunately, by the time ovarian cancer is discovered, it's too late to save the person. So this particular, one of the champion groups, dream teams, has come up and identified a methodology by which there is an early detection of ovarian cancer. So what would have otherwise been a death sentence, by the time it is discovered, is hopefully no longer a death sentence. Now, this is something which is humongously gratifying to people in the company. Because particularly millennials, God bless them, millennials, I think they are a superior generation than their previous generations. They are purpose-driven like no other generation is. They want to work for companies that are driven by purpose and genuinely so. So we find that people in the company are extremely satisfied and very happy that they are actually part of a company that is making a difference. That's a big deal, right? For a company who is in our space, payments, technology, marketing, these are evolving so rapidly. If you want to attract and retain the best talent, particularly the younger generations, they need a strong reason why they have to join a particular company, right? And we are competing against many other technology companies. We are competing against Silicon Valleys of the world. And when we get these folks, it's hugely positive for us, on the one hand. Then employees want to start these on their own as well. So there was a lady on her team, her mom had ALS. And when she had ALS, she said, look, can we come and start a program? And they called it SALSA, S-A-L-S-A. Like the Ice Bucket Challenge, which most of you know. they created a salsa challenge where you come in front of a video and do a salsa move, and generating awareness for that. This is the enthusiasm with which they sort of take it upon themselves. And surprisingly, this small group has already raised more than $200,000 for this cause. And that is very gratifying. So we actually started, based on all that, a campaign both internally and externally saying that start something priceless. One of the key things when you are doing purpose-driven marketing is you have to be very careful and thoughtful. You don't want to go and start advertising about it. So if none of you have heard probably of what is the connection between cancer cures and Mastercard, the reason is exactly this. The moment you start trying to gain your brand salience and prominence in the context of a true purpose or cause, it is seen as self-serving and unauthentic or inauthentic, whatever is the right word. You got to be very careful. And what you want is to make sure that the purpose of the cause is something that you are consistently investing in, consistently supporting, and consistently moving forward with. If at all you want to look for any brand, recognition, you don't announce or advertise. Somebody else, if they want to talk, let them talk. Now, for example, a lot of celebrities, whether it is like Reese Witherspoon, Gwyneth Paltrow, Pierce Brosnan, there are a bunch of folks who are supporting this cause. They are supporting Stand Up to Cancer Foundation. Now, many of them have spoken very favorably about Mastercard's involvement in this. We just let that conversation go. We don't jump in to amplify it and stuff like that, because the moment it is seen as self-serving, you're dead. It doesn't work, right? But at the same time, we are being transparent upfront right at the beginning, saying that if you are using Mastercard, we are channeling a part of those profits to this particular cause. So therefore, the more you use it, the more we are able to contribute. So there is no trickery in this. It's very straightforward and it's very transparent upfront. Now, does it sustain and does it help the company? The answer is absolutely yes. For example, in the restaurant category, if the category is growing at X%, during the promotion, our spend in that category using a Mastercard goes up by X plus Y%. After the promotion is over, it'll come down a bit, but still it settles down to a pre-promotion level. So it is still X plus delta. And that X plus delta, the delta is something which will, it's giving me more market share, it's growing our business well, and at the same time, the promotions are practically self-funding. And so when you integrate a purpose into the core of the business, as opposed to it being something separately standing out, the impact can be very, very, very significant. I'll just borrow from my slides. The other thing I just wanted to mention is that, as brands, we have to be really not delusional. We have some grand ideas about what our brand is and how much consumers love our brand, etc. We have to be brutally honest. Before you are a marketer, make yourself as a consumer. Do you really care about any brand? Do you care if the brand exists or not? More than 80% of the people say, I couldn't care less if this brand exists or dies. Right? And that is the level of relationship between the consumers and the brands that is prevalent. The clutter, like Keith Weed was mentioning, 10,000 messages. I heard different numbers, but 10,000 is probably one of the highest that I have heard. If 10,000 messages are coming at you from brands you really don't care about, in formats that are annoying, in a way that is interrupting your experience, why would they sort of be very happy with your brand and start building, etc.? And we feel that purpose is one way you cut through the clutter, go straight to the hearts of people, not just to the minds of the people, right? One of the key things is purpose-driven brands. In fact, one of the studies shows that they are actually growing at 175% in brand value compared to those which are not necessarily integrating purpose with their brands. The difference is almost more than double. And this is quantitatively checked and verified by some third party. It's not a Mastercard statistic, it's Cantor Consulting. And that's something which is very meaningful. So when you say purpose and you start rolling eyes, it only tells you that you're out of touch with the current reality and you risk being obsolete or irrelevant pretty quickly. And what we do is we talk about the 3 P's of purpose. We call it people, passion, and profit. People, obviously, they have to embrace it in the company. It has to be people-centered. You have to be transparent with your people first. Charity begins at home. The change happens from within your organization. Second, the passion point of it is focus on areas that are truly people are passionate about or people truly care about. It's not what you as a brand care about or the business that you are in, but you go to where people are, where their hearts are, where their fears are, where their concerns are, and go with credible solutions for them. And I keep saying profit because we are 90% of the folks who are in this room, you are not philanthropic organizations. You are not for-profit organizations. And you absolutely have to be focused on profit. And there is a credible, authentic way of marrying profits and purpose that don't have to be mutually exclusive. The lessons that we have actually started, one, build on strengths, start with a cause or purpose tied to your business model or brand. Be consistent about it. 2, focus on scalable ideas. It's very easy because the world is so diverse. There are so many causes that you want to fight for. It's important to pick up and stay focused on a small number of ideas that are truly scalable. Otherwise, you will not really do any difference in any area. So focus, that will be something which will be very critical. Third, partner with like-minded companies and organizations. You cannot change the world by yourself. You need partners, like whether it is we do something in the fight against hunger with World Food Program, or we work with Stand Up to Cancer for cancer research and finding cures for cancer. You need to find partners. And it's critical that their objectives and your objectives, you're seeing eye to eye, you're on the same page, and you're going at the same, with the same level of passion about it. Extremely critical. Commit for the long haul. Don't go flavor of the month. So this month I'll focus this, next month I will do something else, etc. No, don't fritter away your energy. Your energy, your focus is a currency. Don't waste it. It's really important that you're completely focused and you're committing for the long haul. Align with the C-suite. Secure commitment from the top. Yesterday, in fact, Sil and I were there, sitting next to each other at dinner. And we are talking about it. In many of the cases, you as CMOs or you as marketers have to be the heart of your organization. Many organizations, unfortunately, put CSR there and marketing here. The key thing is you need to really blend. It doesn't have to be structurally integrated, but spiritually, emotionally, it has to be integrated. So you have to really be the heart and soul and get commitment right from the top of the house. That's very critical. Otherwise, consistency will not be there. And the last one is engage your employees. Charity begins at home. If your concept is not resonating with your own employees and they are not rising to the occasion, how can you expect consumers to believe you and get inspired by you? So these were the points I just wanted to share with you. And I see that I'm already 3 minutes over time, so I'll stop there. And Stefan, all yours. Thank you, folks.